What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Destroy coming at you with a new video. First video of the week for week 4, and we are talking about quarterbacks. Now, this week is going to be very difficult in terms of pricing and competition. Usually, the previous 3 weeks, you've either had terrible competition, bad pricing, or good pricing, good competition. But this week it's pretty mixed. A lot of tough matchups, a lot of close games, good defensive matchups in this week. So we're just gonna go and get started at quarterback. Highest quarterback again is Patrick Mahomes, and well deserved. Patrick Mahomes is getting 32.3 fantasy points a game, and they're going against Detroit. And Detroit's pass defense, not not making me want to fade Mahomes. Mahomes at 75 is probably looking up and down, probably the safest play as far as cash this week. There's a lot of good GPPs, a lot of players that can have explosive games, but as far as safe play of a guy that's just going to get you a lot of points, you got to look at Patrick Mahomes. He's 7,500, which is a lot, but he's well worth it. So definitely great cash play there against Detroit's terrible defense. Been allowing a lot of yards. Next below him at 6,900 is Lamar Jackson playing against Cleveland. They're going to be at home. Lamar Jackson looks phenomenal. They didn't win against Kansas City, but he played great. Cleveland's defensive backs are hurt, and if they are still hurt, you best believe Lamar Jackson's a great play at 6,900. If you want to go a little cheaper than Mahomes, definitely go Lamar Jackson if Cleveland's defensive backs are hurt. Let me just take a quick look. And they're allowing 213 passing yards a game, but they're also allowing 102 rushing yards a game. So be on the lookout for Lamar Jackson to maybe run a little bit more here. He's still going to pass. He's still going to get his touchdowns passing wise. He could get a rushing touchdown this game. Ingram's a great play to go with him. So at 6,900, I'm feeling very confident with Lamar Jackson. Like I said, especially if all of Cleveland's defensive backs are out again. Right below him at 6,600 is Tom Brady, the GOAT. They're at Buffalo this week, so that helps out Buffalo maybe that first quarter. But it's Tom Brady, and it's New England. New England's defense looks really, really good. And with how inaccurate Allen is at times, that defense can easily kill Buffalo's offensive momentum and give Brady the ball a lot more. Plus, if Josh Allen somehow sneaks out of there and puts up some points, it's not surprising to me that Tom Brady's going to be throwing a lot more and could easily hit 30 fantasy points. They usually try to balance it, but they've been just destroying teams, so they didn't have to rely on passing heavy. Even though they can, like I said, they're at Buffalo, which gives Buffalo a little hope. Plus, Buffalo's defense doesn't look too bad, and Josh Allen has potential to lead that offense, but he's not hit that consistency yet to where we trust him fully. So at 6,600, Tom Brady, always a good cash play. Right below him is Deshaun Watson at 6,400. Deshaun Watson, that Houston offense is always a big question mark. They've looked really, really good and in sync on drives, and then there's other drives to where it doesn't seem like the receivers and Watson are on the same page as far as routes. That's scary. Carolina's defense had a really good second half against Arizona last week. As you can see, Carolina's defense has allowed 166 passing yards a game. Doesn't scare me for Deshaun Watson. I mean, they allow a lot of rushing, but Deshaun Watson can run, but their running backs aren't the greatest. But as you can see, he's only thrown 34 pass attempts max. He's put up 31, 29. He has put up 12 against Jacksonville. Jacksonville's defense is better than Carolina's, in my opinion, and Carolina's defense has looked very inconsistent. They do allow a lot of points, even though they don't give up a lot of yards. But at 6,400, as far as cash, Deshaun Watson just doesn't scream, play me. I'm more of a GPP. He's not a bad player by all means, but as far as cash, I'm not too confident. Besides, $100 cheaper than him is Jared Goff and the Rams against Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay's terrible pass defense that allowed Daniel Jones to come back and win the game on Sunday. So at 6,300, I'm definitely going Jared Goff every time over Watson, especially in cash against that terrible Tampa Bay defensive unit. Man, if you even want to call it that. Right below them at 6,200 is Philip Rivers against Miami. Like, any quarterback against Miami is a good play. Like 6,200. So if you don't want to pay that 7,500, you want to save that 1,300 from going to Mahomes to Philip Rivers. Philip Rivers has potential to throw 4 or 5 touchdowns against Miami, especially even throwing 2 to Austin Eckler. Austin Eckler is a really good play. I'll talk about him tomorrow in tomorrow's video for running backs, but we're talking about Philip Rivers right now. Miami's defense, terrible, just like their offense. Josh Rosen did give the defense more of a break than Fitzpatrick did, so maybe, but Rosen is questionable. We don't know if he's going to play or not. It doesn't matter for Philip Rivers, just determines of how much time Philip Rivers is going to have on the field. Philip Rivers, great play at 6,200. Definitely one of the best cash plays this week. 6,100. So, like I said, these prices are very, very good. Like Mahomes is 600 away from Jackson, and then Jackson's 300 away from Brady, but everyone else is like 100 away from each other, which is really good. Good pricing here by DraftKings this week, in my opinion. Anyway, Russell Wilson had the best quarterback game, I think, this season. 44.34 against New Orleans defense. Tried to lead that team to a comeback, didn't, but he's looked great so far. I mean, you could just look at his stats here. 119 quarterback rating, 901 passing yards, already 7 touchdowns, no picks. So that's very good to see. You could also see his rushing. He's rushed at least 4 times all 3 games last week. He had 51 rushing yards and did get the 2 touchdowns, which boosts his fantasy points. Because if you take the 2 rushing and say they're passing, so you take 4 less, he's still got 40 points. So looks really, really good there. Playing against Arizona, and Arizona's defense does not look good against the pass. Can even bring it back over here. 24th, they've allowed 263 passing yards per game, rushing 157. So that defense doesn't look good at all. The only thing that looks good on Arizona is Kyler Murray at 6,000. He is playing Seattle's defense. Kyler Murray, to me, has really surprised me because of his height. I don't ever want to use height because height doesn't determine your skill. But, man, you see his height. Like, he is short. But being a rookie, he really, really adapting to the NFL. And that offense fits him perfectly. That offensive line is just terrible for him. He got sacked, I think, 8 or 9 times. 5 of those came in the second half against Carolina. That's who it was, against Carolina. And other than that, he looks really good, like 6,000. You just don't know how Seattle's defense is going to play. Seattle's defense hasn't played the best. We can even go and see. Yeah, 250 passing yards per game. They allow 24.3 points a game. So they allow a lot of points, maybe not as much yards, but Kyler Murray looks really good. 6,000. I like it. Not one of my favorites, but I do like it. 5,900, Matt Ryan against Tennessee. Tennessee's defense. Yeah, their defense is okay. Matt Ryan, just an interception machine. He will just throw deep to Julio and Ridley all game. Playing against Tennessee, not my favorite play here. There's not a lot of players below him that I would take. In all honesty, guys, this week, stay 6,000 and above. Anything less in cash, anything less, and you're taking a really big risk. And I'm just gonna go down the list and tell you why. 5,800 Baker Mayfield against Baltimore. Baker Mayfield and that offense have not clicked yet, and I don't know if it's Baker and the receivers or if it's Freddie Kitchens. My bet is on Freddie Kitchens. Just doesn't fit right with that offense. But Baltimore's defense looks really, really, really good, especially if they start to get some of those players back this week, maybe even better. But Baker is not proven to me, and I'm a huge Baker Mayfield guy, but he has not proven to me that he's gonna throw 3 to 4 touchdowns, especially against Baltimore's defense. So not like in that Jameis Winston, too inconsistent. Had one of his better games that he's gonna have all season last week. That's why we took Mike Evans last week, one of our best plays so far this season. We were going to play Jameis. We went Dak, just safer play, still cash. But Jameis was a good play. They're playing the Rams. Aaron Donald's going to be out there going against that terrible Tampa Bay offensive line, and they're going to destroy Jameis Winston and that team. I expect the Rams defense to be one of the best defenses this week as far as point-wise. So, not like that. Josh Allen against New England's defense. Like I said, Josh Allen can do stuff. But as far as cash, he's not a great cash play against New England's defense, which looks scary. I mean, really, really scary. So I'm staying away from anybody playing New England's defense until I see somebody find a hole in that defense. So definitely staying away. Matt Stafford against Kansas City. I mean, maybe you could do this just based off of how much Kansas City's going to score in Detroit, that Matt Stafford's going to get the ball. Matt Stafford, someone like Matt Ryan, they throw a lot, but they also throw a lot of interceptions. So I'd rather go receivers for Detroit than Matt Stafford just because they're going to get receptions and yards, but I don't like Matt Ryan against Kansas City's defense. Next is Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett's not looked too bad. Like, we're just going to look at his stats really quick. So last week against Atlanta, he had his most attempts. He's not throwing that bad. I mean, he threw 60% against Tennessee, and Tennessee's got a pretty good defense. 77 against Chargers. Chargers have a pretty good defense, and against Atlanta, and Atlanta's defense isn't good at all. He threw 75. He threw 300 yards. He's only thrown 1 interception. Doesn't run as much as you would think. Like Andrew Luck would run for Indiana's offense when he had to. So Oakland's defense has looked okay. I just, like I said, for a cash play, 5,400, and Jacoby Brissett's not had an explosive, like, oh my God game. Staying away from that. Derek Carr against Indiana's defense, basically the same thing as Brissett. Daniel Jones, a lot of people like Daniel Jones. He's probably the only player under 6K that I would play, being that they're playing one of the worst defenses in the league. But Daniel Jones had 1 game, got 40 fantasy points, 336 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had 28 rushing yards for another 2 touchdowns. But here's the other thing. He did have 2 fumbles that game. Granted, the only thing that really just excites me about Daniel Jones here is if you're going to go high on running backs this week, or maybe receivers. Most people are going to go high on running backs, though. Daniel Jones is a good play at 5,300, and he's going to get yards. It's a Washington's defense. They look terrible. It's a big risk, especially being a divisional game. They are home, so that helps them out. So if you're going to go anybody below 6K, Daniel Jones is that guy. But to me, he's still more of a GPP than a cash. Like I said, just a little bit of a risk, just because we've only seen him in 1 regular season game. Looked good in the preseason. Looked good last week. Great comeback against the Buccaneers. Kyle Allen against Houston. Houston's defense is good. Same thing. We only seen 1 game from Kyle Allen. He looks really good also, but I mean, that was against Arizona's defense, so anyone could look good against Arizona's defense. We'll see how he looks again this week. I could be wrong, and he has another great game, but 5,200, there's a lot other better plays that I would play here. Minshew winning. I mean, he's somebody, we can look at his stats. pretty accurate. 66, 69, and 88. Only thrown one interception, 5 touchdowns. He can run too. He can run. But same thing. I mean, the highest he's had is 18.6. Nothing really explosive that stands scream. Mariota and that Tennessee offense is too terrible for me to ever go to. Trubisky has looked too inconsistent. Had a really good game last night, but I'm not going to go 5,000 on Trubisky there. And Kirk Cousins, I'm not playing any quarterback against the Chicago Bears defense. Bears are my favorite team, and maybe that's biased, but still. Case Keenum, so I was wrong. Case Keenum is probably the the other quarterback that I would play, 4,900. If you really, really, really need to save money, I mean, like taking a big risk on Case Keenum here, go Case Keenum. Just know if he has a bad start, he might get taken out of the game for Haskins. It might happen, but it's against the Giants. I'm not expecting the Giants to shut down Case Keenum either. So that's it. I'm not going to go over Fitzpatrick or Rosen or anybody else here because I think everybody else is a backup. But that's pretty much it, guys, for quarterbacks. Let me know who you guys like. And this is before injuries and all that, guys. This is just quarterbacks against defenses. On Saturday, when I give my likes, that'll be all considered in as far as injuries, home and away, weather, all that. That'll be considered Saturday. This is just who I like for quarterbacks against defenses. Like I said, let me know who you guys like. Let me know who I was wrong on and why you like them. Let me know if we agreed on anybody. Anyway, I will see you guys in tomorrow's video. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at Astrodfs, where we can get you those lines that's going to make you cash. We are 3 for 3 on DraftKings, guys, and we've looked pretty good. So make sure to follow us, subscribe to us on YouTube here, and leave a like. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in tomorrow's video.